Okay, this is what it is. Thank you. You need another person? Obviously delayed, given my last announcement, but they will indeed be here in 10 minutes. I am informed. So, as previously, we'll ask you to take your seats.
Recently, because of the discovery of the largest petroleum find in the world in 2015. I think there's renewed interest in Guyana, justifiably so. But first of all, Guyana is increasingly becoming a lawful state, a law-abiding state. You tonight that we are working day and night, and I mean that, to make Guyana safe. And when I met with Baroness Annalyn, when I met with the Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Relations, I said thanks, because 10 years ago, in August 2007, the previous administration signed an agreement with Her Majesty's government for a £4.2 million security sector reform plan, and promptly threw that plan through the window. The result is we've had a spate of criminality, and we seem not to have been able to cope because we did not get the assistance that we agreed to. I met David Cameron 2 years ago at the United Nations. He asked me what we needed. I said, I need that security sector reform plan back in operation. He did it, luckily, quickly, because I didn't know what was going to happen. And cutting down timber and exporting those. We need to have more innovation. We need to have people who've come overseas, who've gone to the universities in America, Britain, and Canada, who've acquired new technology, new techniques of production, to come back and open new industries in our country, to be able to educate our children better, to improve the quality of our university, the quality of our primary schools, the quality of our secondary schools. Education used to be something to boast about. People in Guyana could do primary school and go to any secondary school, any university, anywhere around the world, because our education was so sound. Right now, I must admit that we've been plagued with a lot of dropouts. Many of our youngsters have started to drop out of primary and secondary school. I don't say so boastfully, but it's a fact that we have to confront. It's a challenge that we have to confront. And why? Sometimes the simple cost of transport to getting to school is beyond the means of the families. I went up to Pomeroon and someone told me that to get their daughter to charity secondary school costs $5,000 Guyana a week. It's unsustainable. And that is one of the reasons why we introduced the 3Bs system, or the 3Bs approach. This is providing free buses, and free boats, and free bicycles to children. It started in the Pomeroon. It started in the Pomeroon. So children can now get into a bus and go, a boat, because Pomeroon doesn't have roads. The road is the river. But they can get in free of charge and go to school in comfort and return home. It is very, very picturesque to see an Amerindian paddling to school. You could see it on the postcards, in a little canoe, Corial. But when he gets to school, he's tired. Then he's got to paddle back home tonight, and there's no light, he's got to paddle the next morning. And as soon as he can drop out, he'll drop out. But now we have boats. On the highways, we have more buses, and children are being given bicycles. I'm just saying that is one of the approaches to keep our children in school. The second approach we must develop is to develop a more entrepreneurial form of education. In the colonial times, many of us looked forward to becoming a civil servant. That was a decent job. If people heard you going into business, they said, "Why, you don't have ambition? Why don't you go into the civil service or become a priest?" Well, no longer. That would be above poverty if you go in.
I am a student of President's College, Stella Maris also. Thank you. And whenever I go to Guyana, I can see that the institution has depleted massively, and it breaks my heart every time to see the condition of my school, my home that I lived in for several years. So that's my question to you. Don't we need better teachers? Also, we have many Guyanese people that are studying here in London. Can we not bring them over to Guyana? I have another point also. You mentioned about businesses and entrepreneurship. How do we as British Guyanese students, entrepreneurs, how do we connect with Guyana? Because it was pitched before at the High Commission in 2012 that young people can get on board. I followed it up and nothing has happened. So I would like for this to be pushed, not to be just said, but to be executed. Thank you.
The training that we give to teachers. In fact, the previous administration started a program for 1 laptop per family, but as soon as I got in, I changed it to 1 laptop per teacher, because I believe that the teachers need to master information technology first before we give it to families. And the government of China was very supportive, and that program has started. I also established a Ministry of Public Telecommunications for the first time, and that is promoting information technology in our schools. So I agree with you that work is being done or should be done at the Sir Potter College of Education. And as far as the role of the High Commission here in London is concerned, the Minister of Foreign Affairs will speak about that. We started off on a high.
The only young ladies at the event were bold enough to boast that they were products of President's College, and also made the same complaint that you were making, that the quality of the place seems to decline. And this is really not a very good testimony to the governance of the educational system, and I assure you we agree. We agree with you in that regard. The President and I, even for a short time after that, were chatting about the need, and prior to that, had a discussion on the need to address the problem of the President's College itself and the unique features that it has. But in general, of course, as he was indicating, maybe I should stand up, as he was indicating, there is a problem, we were encountering a problem as regards the quality of education, and therefore the urgent need to ensure that that is enhanced as quickly as possible. It is not possible for us to survive effectively in this world, which is characterized by change at all stages, the need to come to grips with the changes in science and technology if we don't address the educational system in all its dimensions. And this is one of the highest priorities of the government. So rest assured that we will pay attention to that dimension. The second point you raised is how best might the skills
information technology. But my question to you was how you go about approaching other issues, longer standing issues in Guyana. For example, mental health. In 2012 alone, Guyana was ranked the highest country of suicide rates in the whole world. And that is definitely an issue that has been going around in Guyana for a very long time. There are many other issues such as women's equality and rights, domestic violence, and I was wondering, with the newfound revenue potentially from the oil, how you go about putting in place action for these concerns.
want to assure that I'm safe. And equally, my brothers and sisters, we are safe. My mom, I can share with you now. My mom has got late stage dementia. I took her home to Guyana and I had to bring her back because it's not even heard of. Things like postnatal depression, not even heard of. Drug-induced psychosis, not even heard of. So there are things that is actually amongst us, and unless we see the outcome, whereas people's arms have been chopped off, people's heads have been chopped off. Where are the valuables, loving, law-abiding Guyanese that I know? I think we've moved into a kind of a gruesome generation, and I can't relate to that. So I just want us to think about how can we, in terms of setting a platform, that nurses now training and coming up can be able to have that skills and that expertise, even if it's the basic, that somebody who is suicidal, you can detect it and have an arena where they can come and sit and speak with you, that we don't have to see the outcome. Because now we have to race with the rest of the world. We are going for that race, so we have to take everything in our stride. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
And exporting those. We need to have more innovation. We need to have people here tonight that we are working day and night, and I mean that to make Guyana safe. And when I met with Baroness Annalee, when I met with the Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Relations, I said thanks, because